Hello, I'm Kads, and welcome back to the free-to-play review. So today's topic is going to be the latest iteration of the summon pool, specifically the anniversary summon pool, because as you can tell by the lovely reworked or reskinned Bastion, it is officially the 7th anniversary celebration going on in Raid, and so we have the annual, so to speak, anniversary summon pool. So we have a lot of champions up for grabs, and it's a mix of like previous fusion champions, meta champions, good champions, new champions as well. So lots to mention here in terms of legendaries, at least. Epics, less so, but still a couple of honorables in that category. So the first thing I want to mention is that I was fairly disappointed in the summon pool at the start, just because there's 16 legendaries up for grabs, which means the odds of you getting the one you might be looking for is very, very slim because there's just so many options. There's a 6% chance to get a legendary, 94% chance to get an epic, i.e. this is basically a sacred shard, which is pretty standard par for the course at this point. But 6% divided by 16 is a relatively small number. So if I wanted Harima, for example, the odds of getting her specifically is a lot less than trying to get any of the other legendaries. So it's just, I didn't really like that, but we'll come back to why I changed my mind a little bit about that a little bit later. So let's kind of go through here, quick speed run of the champions. Stultus, great for hard mode faction wars, good for I guess either mode of faction wars. Hard mode dragon is kind of where he shines a little bit with his passive. Wixwell, obviously infamous for the infinity compositions, so Titus Wixwell teams and any other type of shield Wixwell team. Nishak, still the best legendary bomber, most accessible champion in the game, great for Bommel, great for arena of all types. Sanguine Maria, somewhat underrated, but a decent champion if you know how to use her properly. She is quite complicated, in fairness, but if you can unlock her full potential, she's quite a strong champion. We have the most recent fusion, Noljua the Gloaming. Decent support. I think she's not as powerful as her partner, of course, and she's more she's marginally more powerful with him, but he kind of works on his own and or with her, so she's kind of underwhelming. But previous fusion, so you probably have her if you went for her, and if you don't, then you have a chance. You have Venalicia, who's a decent kind of like super Ugo when it comes to Hydra clan boss, decreased defense block buffs, and a revive as well as a buff strip. So really strong kit in terms of Hydra, but also decent for faction wars as well. Harima, super strong champion, not as meta as she used to be, but I still love her personally on my account. But her passive super strong, reduces ignored defense effects, and she's also one of the best forced affinity defense nuker legendaries and defense based legendary nukers in the game. We have one of the newer champions in the game, one of the few legendaries added to the Argonites alongside Cassandra, so decent champion, AoE HP burn, a single target death brand, which is effectively could be a block revive if you kill the target. It's on there for 2 turns, so you have a couple of chances to do that, even if he's not the one who puts them in the ground. We have Wallmaster Tharan, basically a beast in Hydra clan boss / Chimera clan boss, depending upon the affinities of the heads and whatnot. But AoE attack, enemy max HP, decrease attack and block buff, super strong. Use him for Hydra on my account. Armons, less so of a menace, but still relatively strong if you get him early enough, or you get him in the right use him in the right situations. But the massive amount of turn meter steal, and then the point and click sheep ability, but kind of neutered more recently by the wand of submission. Then we have Crocad, one of my favorite Hydra DPSs in the game, and more recently the champion who enabled me to complete the Super Lashun challenge. So I did that live on stream if you want to check out the VOD. But him and Packmaster were quintessential to my strategy for beating Lashun with all 4 roaming bosses alive on hard mode. So one of the few, hopefully one of the few players in the game who has actually pulled off that achievement and gotten that badge. But humble brag aside, we have one of the newer champions added to the Sylvan Watchers, Vestel. She's actually on my kind of nuker wish list, but she seems really strong on paper, and in practice I think she's even probably better than we could imagine here. But Shatter on herself, increased attack, places that before attacking she can ignore block damage and stone skin, gets an extra turn. She can put unkillable counterattack on herself after attacking AoE, ignoring some defense. It's a A1 here, but she can steal steal buffs and removing buffs and stuff like that, ignore some defense as well. And then kind of the kahuna here, she's essentially the newer version of Georgia the Breaker here, where she has a 50% chance to deal double damage, more or less, as long as their attack is lower than hers, which again applies to basically everyone. Maybe a nuker might be able to out attack her depending on their stats and whatnot, but in most cases dealing normal damage is probably going to kill a nuker, let's be honest. And then, dealing double damage against the tanks is ridiculously strong. So I definitely would like to have her, but I'm kind of biased towards anyone who can ignore Stone Skin on my account. Then we have Stock the Broken, another previous fusion, great champion for poisons, and also poison activation, 1 tick, and also HP burn activation. So pretty strong champion. I use him in a couple of areas of PvE. Newt kind of goes without saying, but one of the best single target enemy boss killers in the game, but the triple hitter, enemy max HP hit, and also kind of the king of Fire Knight Hard. If you don't have him, he'd be excellent to have. And last but not least, we have Cheshire Cat, who is a sneaky damage dealer when it comes to his power level. Just literally can just spam his A1. It will give him a veil, and he does an AoE attack when he's under veil, and he does a ridiculous amount of damage when he's under the veil, and he has a little bit of a protective keep himself alive passive as well. He can also give himself increased attack and stuff, and AoE, another AoE there. You don't really use the A2 all that much, but you can decrease their speed, which is relatively unique, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, don't underestimate the A1 when you're going against the Cheshire Cat. A couple of counterattacks, and he could basically single-handedly wipe out your team. So yeah, lots of good legendaries. I think that's kind of the main takeaway. There's a lot of them, but there's a lot of good ones in here. So if you happen to get any of them, you're probably going to be better off than you were before. Then when it comes to the epics, a little bit less exciting, but still a couple of notables. We do have a decent amount of Lady Mikage epics, if that's what you're looking for. So End of Moonbeam comes to mind, Ashma comes to mind, I think Fire Gun Isabel is one of them, as well as Lady Quillen. So 4 and Dahlia as well. Yeah, 5 Lady Mikage epics. If you're still looking for or working towards getting her, that's a decent odds. Again, a 94% chance to get an epic. That is the most likely outcome of pulling 1 Prism Shard. You can have a decent chance of hopefully getting the one you might be missing for Lady Mikage. Durandil, pretty solid AoE nuker for an epic. Force Affinity, Siege Hole, kind of the same thing, but he also brings AoE decreased defense, increased attack on himself, so he's a really good squishy, but a really good debuffer. Galapo is a decent support. It's kind of like, for me, it's kind of on the edge of like Broadmaw revives 2 and you get him for free, versus this guy can revive a single target, but he does provide a decent amount of healing throughout all of his abilities. Little mini version or small version of increased resistance, then healing here as well, AoE attack. So he could run into stun set. So depending upon the situation, you can run them together, you can run them separately, kind of depends on your needs. But I do think Broadmaw is probably more accessible for most players. So it depends who you happen to have or who you happen to get first. Tagore, overrated in my opinion. I do not like champions who have a revive that can be wasted when people are not dead, because on auto this is always wasted when no one's alive, just before people die, and then you have to wait, in this case 5 turns before you can try to revive people. So I think he's a little bit overrated, but he is strong when you manual with him and you save that for the right moment. Allure, less so meta now, but still the queen of single target turn meter suppression. So as long as she crits, 75% turn meter reduction on the A1, assuming again there's a single target out there. Deacon Armstrong, still one of the best debuffers in the game, powerhouse in terms of turn meter manipulation, increased decrease here 15%, AoE decreased defense, leech on the A1 speed or in all battles, super good. The best ally attack champion for epics in the game, Farrakhan the Fat, with this ability he doesn't join in, but everyone else goes in and he provides increased damage, increased crit rate, super strong. And then I think Vogoth kind of gets the last mention here, super strong passive. He doesn't really need to do all that much aside from exist on the team, and then he can heal allies by 50% of the damage received, and then half of that for bosses. And then here he can also place leeches out there whenever he's attacked, so he can help he's basically he heals your team and then helps your team heal themselves between both of his passives. So super strong. Just put him in the team. And then I'll just throw out there that this is a new epic in the game, part of the organized faction as well. Her kit is okay. I think she's meant to be a nuker based off her the abilities here, but AoE attack that ignores some defense if they're Spirit Affinity, but 25% if they're any other affinity, which is kind of, again, relatively unique. You got single target hit here that can block revive. We would need to know the multipliers on this to know if it's a viable kill thing or kill potential there, but it also fills your turn meter by 30% after, regardless of whether or not you kill the target, and 3-turn cooldown block revive. Again, it's just worth mentioning. And then the A1 attacks when enemy places an extra hit if the target is under decreased defense. You might be wondering, where the heck is decreased defense in her kit? It is on the passive. So before attacking, she has a 50% chance when booked of removing any increased attack or decreased attack on her and replacing it with increased attack. And then she can have a chance, same thing, 50% of removing any increased defense and replacing it with decreased defense. So before attacking on every turn, no cooldown, at least it appears, appears. So you can always try to place decreased defense before doing one of these things, assuming someone had increased defense prior. So again, relatively unique champion and one of the newest epics in the game in the new faction. So now let me harken back to my comment earlier about me initially being disappointed about the amount of champions in the pool and then what changed my mind. And that has to do with the air quotes free summons. And in this case, it's a rare occasion where we actually get to remove the air quotes. There is one air quotes free summon. I guess we'll hop into that really quickly, but there is a soul chase tournament going on right now. So if you do pull some soul stones, you have a chance to get out to I think it's 1,000 and something points, and then you can get yourself an air quotes free summon. You can see that I've already maxed this one out. Unfortunately, the audio on that recording got messed up, and so I wasn't able to release that video. But nonetheless, I did pull I think 210 of my mortal soul stones, and nothing crazy popped out of the souls. Or popped out of the soul stones, but nonetheless it's kind of sad to lose the footage there, but I digress. But yeah, I did max this out, get the relic crafting fragments and the air quotes free summon legendary tome mythical ore as well, all the rewards I guess. So I did do that, and that's kind of where my head was out. I did this before the summon pool was live, and so I was just like, I don't even know what it is, but I'm probably going to save this for the next one, depending upon what the offerings were. And then again, going into this one, once I saw it was live, I was like, there's so many champions here that even though there's a couple of them that would be useful for me or nice to have for me, I wasn't going to go for it. But I'm digressing here. The main thing that I wanted to point out was that in the shop, you should be able to see a string pack or something, or an anniversary chain pack that allows us to get a free summon. And oh, I guess I misunderstood. I thought they were giving us the entire chain for free, so never mind. I guess I'm a little bit less. I'm back to normal amounts of excitement, so mistakes on my part there. I apologize potentially for getting you hyped, but yeah, I thought they were going to give us maybe that's too silly of me to assume, but I thought they're going to give us the 40 and the 40 and the 80, so we're going to get 4 free summons, but that is incorrect. So we just get 1 free summon. So okay, well, regardless, you know, you don't really have a choice there. You kind of have to claim that one unless you want to waste it, just because the pack would expire before the summon pool ends, and so you're better off just getting the free summon. But in this case, point being, there is an actual free summon where you just log in and you get a free summon, so you can get a chance to get one of these legendaries, and then you still have the chance to earn the air quotes free summon from the soul chase if you choose to partake in that one. So I guess shame on me for thinking that Player would be generous enough to give us 4 free summons, but let me know in the comment section down below what your plan is relative to this summon pool. Obviously you get 1 free shot, so you might as well take it, although I would recommend waiting. Well, actually, I think this weekend we're queued up for a summon rush, not a champion chase, so it probably doesn't matter if you want to pull it early or later. It's up to you, personal discretion. If you're impatient, might as well go for it. But yeah, let me know what your plan is relative to the summon pool. Are you going for the soul chase? There is, of course, boosted rates in the Altar of Souls. The boosted rates are on the 5-star and 6-star souls for the mortals and the 6-star souls for the immortals. So it's a decent time, not the best time, but a decent time to pull some soul stones, and then you can get the air quotes free summon from the chase. Or are you just going to be skipping, you know, obviously get a free summon, but you're going to be skipping out in the soul chase, saving your resources for something in the future? In my case, I got lucky that I pulled Basim from the most recent Sacred Pogo event, so I didn't have to pull any of my soul stones for the I forget which deck of fate it was specifically, but the Basim, we'll call it the Basim deck of fate. And so I basically had even more soul stones than normal, so I was happy to pull the 210 soul stones that I pulled in the soul chase, and I still have like 300 or something. I just saw, I forget, but yeah, I still have 300, and I didn't pull any of the immortals as well, and I still have like 14 plus 50, so up to 60 something immortals for whatever they might throw down the pipeline. So I'm still prepared despite actually having maxed out the soul chase, but that is me in my particular situation. So kind of depends how you guys want to play it, but yeah, let me know what your plan is relative to the summon pool in the comment section down below. As always, if you did find this video helpful, then be sure to hit that like button down below. It really does help out the channel, and feel free to hit the subscribe button down below as well, if and only if you're enjoying the content overall on this channel, for more content just like this one in the future. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.